Hello everyone and welcome to the One Stop Co-op Shop. Today I'm going to be doing a solo playthrough of Shadowscape. And I am going to use the expansion Deeper Dungeon that I think is just a Kickstarter. I don't know, I think you can get this in retail. But it adds allies, it makes the actual dungeon just a little bit bigger. It's a 6x5. And it also provides a cool little thing that happens within the Fate deck. So I thought, you know what, it's more fun to show you guys everything of this game, and that way you can see if you like it. Two things I want to mention. First, you might notice, I'm playing on the on my quiver mat again. I really like the texture look of the quiver mat, and I'm just curious if you guys can let me know in the comments if you prefer the white background of that new table that I have, or the quiver mat background that's green. It's got a little bit of texture. Just wondering which you prefer. Second, I just recently found the Gray Board Gamer. Somebody, when I asked about other YouTubers, somebody told me about him, and he is awesome. I have watched a few of his videos now, and I think he's fantastic. He is pretty much the opposite of me. He's very good at staying calm, cool, and collective. Provides you with rules, very detailed, walks you through the game. He also does some unboxing videos. I really suggest checking him out, especially if you want something that's different than me. Because I sometimes I get so excited, and he's very much more of a relaxed individual. He's got some pretty good humor though as well, and definitely suggest checking him out. He is on Patreon, and I'm backing him on Patreon because I think what he does is amazing, and I suggest you do it too if you can. Feel free to go and check him out, give him a like, subscribe to him, and that'd be cool. All right, just like normal, check out this video to see how you set up the game, especially with this dungeon, Deeper Dungeon. It is a little bit different. And then the video below this will be the playthrough. Thanks for watching, and let's get going. To start setting up the game, the first thing you want to do is set up the dungeon itself. Now, the base game comes with these two sets of cards. These are the end cards on the four corners of the dungeon itself. Each hero will start in one of these rooms. Then you have your regular dungeon cards, and they will have the back that looks like a door. But with the Deeper Dungeon expansion, there are 9 additional cards that what you're going to do is you're going to add 5 of them into this deck randomly. So I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to grab these, shuffle them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I've now added 5 new cards into here to create a 6x5 instead of a 5x5 dungeon. And these will now be shuffled up, randomly set up with these on the 4 corners. Here we have our 6x5 dungeon all set up. Now there are no walls in this game, so these are all going to be open doors. You can't go diagonally, of course, but you see all these different icons. They're going to be used for enemy movement, but it also kind of shows you that all these doors are open. And the only ones, of course, are in the corners over here. They're not open. You can't go to the other side of the dungeon by going this way, so this is kind of a wall. You got the 4 walls. This is all how the dungeon looks all set up. Next, let's set up our Whisper deck. This is how we're going to win the game. If we collect all these Whisper cards up to this eliminate the Lord of the Dungeon, and we do eliminate the Lord of the Dungeon, before our Fate deck runs out, we win the game. If the Fate deck runs out, we lose it. That's how you play cooperatively. Now, competitively, you'll take out some of the level 1 and level 2 Whisper cards, but from a cooperative standpoint, you use all of them. And you'll always use all of them. So you'll always see the same cards, they'll just come out in different orders. How you set it up is you'll take this level 3 Whisper card, and you can tell the levels by these shards here. If you're playing competitively, the more shards you have, that's how many you win the game that way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 random level 2 ones and shuffle that on up with this third, the Eliminate the Dungeon Lord Whisper card, and then I'll just take this level 2 pile, put it on top, take this level 1 pile, shuffle that on up, and put that on top. And then we'll draw 4 cards to start the game. We'll have a total of 4 that are always out and available to us. Each time we can claim one of these, we'll draw another one, so there'll always be 4 available to claim as we're playing. And we'll look at these in detail as we go through the playthrough. Next, we'll set up the ally deck the equipment deck, the general actions deck, and determine what our evil lord that we need to defeat will be. So the ally deck is pretty simple. You just shuffle it, flip it face down. The only thing about the ally deck is the game is not clear how they're used. I looked it up on Board Game Geek, and from what I understand, when you collect or obtain an ally, you can at any time use their benefit and then you discard them. But if you think that's wrong or you have something else that you know of for allies, let me know, put it in the comments, and I'll make sure to put it in the description. So I'll shuffle these off camera and get those set up. Also, our equipment deck, this just needs to be shuffled, and then we'll place 4 out available to us at the beginning of the game. The Deeper Dungeon does provide additional equipment cards called talismans, and if we see them, we'll talk about how they work. But I'll shuffle that up and draw 4 of those off camera. We also have our General Actions deck. Now this General Actions deck, we can claim an additional action card that we can use, and what we have to do is give up trophies or treasures equal to what level we have up here. So this says we would have to give up 2 trophies to be able to claim this card. And each one is double-sided, just like our regular general action cards. So once again, I'll shuffle these and put 4 out. Last, let's figure out which evil lord we're going to be going against. So I'll shuffle them. I'm not going to look. You guys don't look. No, I'm just kidding. It doesn't matter. We'll do this one. Okay. Ooh, this is a new one. So there's a competitive side, and there's a cooperative side. Oh my gosh, that's a 14! Oh, okay. The cooperative side has an ability, Unholy Shield. Immediately before resolving an attack against this enemy, the attacking player may lower the defense of this enemy by 2 for each shield on fate cards in their hand. Wow! Okay, interesting, but holy moly. This is going to be interesting. He won't come out until we get to that specific Whisper card, but then when he comes out on the center of the board. Granted, now I'm a 6x5, there really isn't a center, so I just put him somewhere, and then he hangs out there, and we try and defeat him. He'll also have this little token that we'll use to show where he is on the board when he comes out. Next, what we'll want to do is we'll want to pick out our heroes. Now, there's a total of, I think, 17 heroes here. We're going to draw 2. We're going to play with 2. This is a solo game. It says you can play it solo, but every game that I've seen out there always plays with a minimum of 2 characters. So I'm just going to grab 2. So let's see. We'll use Aseke for 1, and we'll use Arani for 2. First thing to note is each character has a special ability. We have the Luck of the Bard. So Aseke, it looks like she plays some sort of instrument, and she's kind of like a bard. And she has the ability that immediately after you are attacked, but before the attack is resolved, you may draw 1 fate card. If you have more than 3 fate cards in your hand, you must discard 1 fate card. Cool. That's actually not bad. She has a shield of 1, which means she can soak up 1 damage without taking any wounds. She can hold up to 4 fate cards in her hand, and really that only matters during the preparation phase, or of course using her ability, because there are times when you can have more than what you have here as a number, and that's fine, just as long as you don't do a prepare action that makes you discard fate cards. Her movement is 2, and on her character sheet she can place 1 wound here that will have no effect on her. In the regular game of Shadowscape, you have 4 action cards. Some may even have 3. I don't know. Ricky's playthrough, he only had 3. But so far, I've only seen characters have 4. But with the Deeper Dungeon, you actually get a 5th action card, and you get to choose one of them not to use throughout the game. There is 1 card that does not have a wound icon on it. That one you cannot get rid of. You have to have this one because how the wounds work is when a card is wounded, you can't use it. And this card will always have the heal action. You always have to be able to heal. So you have to use this one. Then I have to decide between these 4 which one I don't want to use. After looking at Asake's cards, I decided I'm not going to use this one. So these are going to be the 4 that she'll use for this playthrough. Here we have Irani. Irani has a shield of 2 this time, unlike Aseke, which was only 1. Or Aseke. Gosh, I'm terrible at names, you guys. I'm so sorry. 3 for fate cards that she can have in her hand. Only 1 for movement instead of 2. She has the ability called Bane of the Dead. When performing a heal action, you may discard 1 fate card to deal 1 damage for each wound you discard from your hero area to each undead enemy in your room. This is considered a magic attack which cannot be boosted. Oh, that's kind of cool. She is a cleric, and she can have 2 wounds on her hero card without having any effect on her cards. We're going to have Irani use these 4 action cards. She is not going to use this one, just because I want to have a search too, which I really like. Next, let's set up the Fate deck. So the Fate deck, after it's been shuffled, each character will draw their hand limit and Fate cards. So 4 for Aseke and 3 for Irani. Then what we'll do is we'll break this pile out into 4 separate piles. And on 3 of those piles, we'll take these cards and randomly shuffle them up and put 1 on top of each section, and then place those on top of each other with the pile that has no event card on top. So we'll have no events for the first 20 or so Fate cards, but then we'll start getting events in each section. And they're good things, bad things, who knows? We'll see as we do the playthrough. Next, we're going to set up our treasure pile. So these treasures are going to go out on the board in specific locations, and our enemy pile. So we have a total of 3 different types of enemies: undead, brigand, and beast. Each one is going to provide you with a little bit different information. Up top, it shows you how it's moved when it's activated. Over here, it tells you how much it attacks for and if it's ranged or melee. Range is only ever 1 room apart, and it's always orthogonally. This icon right here is the shield. That's their health, essentially, and you have to do equal to or greater than damage worth to be able to defeat them. Now, if you're playing on the easy mode, none of these have special abilities. They just have the fight and the defense, and that's all you need to know. But I'm going to play on the normal mode, and that's going to include each enemy has a specific card that gives it a special ability. And we'll go through those through the playthrough as you see them. Now we're back on the board, and we're going to set it up to be ready to play. So what you can see, there's lots of different things going on this board, but what we're going to talk about right now are layers. There are enemy layers, the 3 different types. So you can see here's a face, that's a brigand layer, versus over here's a beast layer, that's an undead layer. There's also shrines. So there's the, let's see if I can find one. The arcane shrine over here. You've got the companion shrine, which I can't remember what it's called. And so all of those do different things, and I'll go through that in the playthrough. But what we need to do is set up the enemies on the board. In all of the layers, we have to spawn enemies. So we'll spawn a beast in this location. So now we've spawned all the enemies. There's at least 1 enemy in each layer, which is perfect. Oh, I missed one. Here's a brigand. There we go. Okay, now we have them. Now we place treasure tokens on each spot that has a treasure, and it'll be face up. And that's what the amount we need to search in that location to be able to claim the treasure. And the treasure can be used either to get equipment or to help us get the general action cards that we can then use for the rest of the game. Let's see. I think I got most of them. Here we go. Now, when you play the game without the Deeper Dungeon expansion, what you need to know about the enemies is no enemies spawn until 1 entire group is gone. So let's say there are no more beasts out and we're supposed to activate beasts, then you spawn all of those enemies. But I'm playing with the quicker spawn variant since this is a larger dungeon, and instead of it being at 0, it's going to be at 1. So if there's only 1 of a beast left, let's say, then all beasts will spawn in all the other locations. So now we get to decide where we want our heroes to start. So Aseke, I think, is going to start way down here, and then I think we're going to have Arani spawn or start off way over here. That is the setup for Shadowscape. It takes up a ton of space for a game that is in a very small box. So you'll hear that from everybody. But it looks cool. Hope you guys are excited to start. Let's get going, and thanks for watching.